Hi, I'm Sue, creator of Cut Couture and Cut Couture Kits. If you've already completed your garment by watching one of our How to Construct Your Kit videos and you're ready to add a splash of professional colour, then this is the video for you. Our dye happy kits include a dye sachet, some protective gloves and a length of jute twine in case you want to tie-dye your garment. But this video concentrates on instructions to help you dye your garment a solid colour to a professional standard. So let's get organised and prepare the equipment required. There are basic instructions on the back of your dye sachet, but I would suggest that you follow these video instructions carefully to achieve the very best results. In addition to the sachet and gloves supplied, you'll need 250 grams of table salt, a washing up bowl or stainless steel sink or a large cooking vessel. You will need kitchen tongs, weighing scales, laundry powder and a measuring jug. It will also be helpful if you can lay your hands on a casserole dish or a bowl, which will help to weigh down the fabric in the dye bath. And if you have a washing machine, you can use this to spin at the end of the process. A spoon will help to dissolve, although you can use your kitchen tongs, and fabric softener if you have it. First, you need to dissolve your dye, so fill a measuring jug with 500 millilitres of hot water, cut off the top of your sachet wearing your protective gloves and pour the dye into the jug. Stir around with a spoon until you can feel no grittiness left in the solution. Then leave this to stand. Now while your dye is standing, you need to pre-wash and rinse your garment. You can do this by hand. So add some washing detergent into a bowl of hand hot water. Make sure the detergent is properly dissolved by stirring it around and then introduce your garment to the bowl. Now, to achieve really professional results, it's important that you agitate the fabric in the water at each stage. You need to not just stir it around, you need to lift the fabric up and out of the water and put it back in and press it down, turn it over. Generally get as much water flow over the whole area of the fabric as you can. So thoroughly wash your garment in the soapy water for about 5 minutes and then pour this water away and introduce fresh cold water to your bowl. Rinse your garment 2 or 3 times to make sure that you've removed all of the soap. As the water gets less soapy, you can use this water to feed the plants or recycle it for other uses. Wring out your garment and put it to one side, leaving it damp. Weigh out 250 grams of table salt and 6 litres of hot water. Put the hot water into the bowl and pour in the salt, then stir around with your tongs or a spoon. At first the liquid will be milky, but keep stirring until it becomes absolutely clear. Now it's time to introduce the jug of dye liquor to the salty water to create your dye bath. This dye bath has been designed to dye 250 grams of fabric to a dark colour. This is approximately the weight of a Hannah blouse, but I'm going to dye today the Hillary culottes, the large size, which is actually 500 grams of fabric. Now we can still do this with successful results. The colour will simply be a paler shade than is indicated on the sachet. If you want to dye 500 grams of fabric, such as Hillary culottes, to a very dark colour, then you would need to use 2 sachets of dye and 500 grams of salt. Once your dye solution is thoroughly mixed with your salty water, put your garment into the bowl and push it down with tongs, making sure it's totally submerged. Remember to wear your protective gloves and pull them well up onto your hands so that the dye liquid doesn't go down inside them, and I'd suggest you wear an apron also. Now on the back of your dye sachet, it will tell you to stir the fabric in the liquid for 15 minutes. Now stirring really is not enough to get a really professional result. You need to lift the fabric out of the water, put it back in, squash it down, rotate it, turn it over, and again, as when you were washing, you need to get as much water exchange over the fabric surface area as you can. So use your tongs to lift the fabric up from the bottom of the bowl, and use your hands if you want to, although be careful not to get the dye into the gloves. And you'll notice I'm wearing a white long sleeve top, which is probably not advisable. After 15 minutes, you can leave the fabric in the dye submerged and just rotate it every 5 minutes. So I use a casserole dish to weigh it down to keep the total amount of the fabric underneath the liquid. You want to avoid large air bubbles because the dye won't get to these areas of the fabric, so I suggest you rock the casserole dish around. If you've got a bowl with round sides, the air bubbles will tend to slip out more easily, but with a flat bottomed casserole dish you need to rock it left and right and push the fabric down around it to make sure all the air bubbles are removed before you leave it for 5 minutes. Now for the next 45 minutes you need to keep returning to your fabric every 5 or 10 minutes, rotating the fabric, turning it over again, twisting it around, making sure that there's plenty of water exchange over the fabric, and then weigh it down again with a casserole dish or push it down with your tongs just so that it remains submerged. Now you're ready to rinse your garment, so pour away the dye liquor and add cold water to the bowl to cover the fabric. Move the fabric around again, agitate it in the water until you see quite a lot of dye come out of the fabric. Pour this away and add cold water again. So you need to do this about 4 times, keep replacing the water. As the water gets clearer, you can put your hands in and give it a good squeeze and a good agitation with your hands, and then that final amount of water again could be used to water the plants or recycle in another way. Now by this stage you will see I've realised it's more sensible to roll my sleeves up. I am wearing my watch, but it is waterproof and I never take it off. So beware, if you've got a watch that's not waterproof, that should have been removed. Okay, so your dyeing is complete and the final stage is to wash and rinse your garment. So add washing detergent to a bowl of hot water and thoroughly wash your garment as before. Dispose of the water and then use cold fresh water to rinse your garment. It will take a couple of rinses to remove all the soapy water, so in your final rinse add some fabric conditioner or fabric softener if you have it to make sure that your linen is beautifully soft after drying. After your final rinse, wring your fabric or spin it in the spin cycle of your washing machine and then leave to dry on a line or on a hanger. Now remember, dyeing at home is not an exact science, it's a craft, and each product will dye a slightly different shade depending on the weight of the fabric, depending on the amount of agitation used, depending on the dye colour used. And this is the whole idea, that your garment is supposed to be completely unique to you. So we can't guarantee the shade that you will achieve, but you will achieve an even result if you follow the instructions of this video. We really would like to see your results, so do tag us at Cut Couture Kit or So Naturally Stylish. Send us pictures of your final product. Maybe you're going to add some extra embellishments such as embroidery or applique, but send us images, we'd love to see them. Thank you for purchasing your Cut Couture kit and your dye kit. I hope you enjoyed the creative process of making your own unique couture piece, and I hope you get many years of enjoyment from wearing it.